Ladies and gentlemen, something unprecedented is happening inside Major League Baseball. Just moments after the Dodgers announced Miguel Rojas' new contract, the entire league was thrown into chaos. A simple extension, 1 year, $5, $5 million, should have been routine. But instead, it ignited a storm of controversy, jealousy, and accusations that shook MLB to its core. Why did Rojas reject the Mets' massive $10.2 million offer? Why did Juan Soto personally call him, pressuring him to abandon the Dodgers? And why did Mookie Betts step forward with one of the most powerful statements of his career? Behind Rojas' quiet signature lies a story of loyalty, conflict, and a league divided. A story that reveals MLB's shifting culture and the hidden tensions surrounding Shohei Ohtani's rising influence. Today, we dive deep into the explosive truth. A truth that stunned reporters, split fan bases, and exposed emotions some players never wanted the world to see. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear is not just another MLB update. It's the turning point of a generation. Immediately after the announcement of his contract with the Dodgers, a sudden surge in MLB power, uncertainty swirled. The truth behind Rojas' rejection of the Mets' $10 million offer became a hot topic. Betts' response stunned the nation. It was a faint, early morning over Los Angeles. The news of Miguel Rojas' 1 year, $5 million contract extension with the Dodgers was quietly released. Despite the date, however, it reverberated like an explosion throughout the MLB world. While on the surface it was merely a veteran player's contract extension, the reason for the sudden surge in interest is clear. Rojas was an unsung hero and the center of gravity of the clubhouse, having consistently supported the team's 2 World Series victories. Media outlets reported the deal as a strategic move toward a 3rd consecutive championship, citing the Dodgers' strong will as the driving force. Among a team filled with flashy star players, Rojas is by no means the type to put up impressive numbers. Still, his emancipatory presence, his ability to unite the team, and his deep understanding of the Dodgers organization transcended the image of a mere warrior and became a culture in itself. The fact that the team prioritized internal unity over external reinforcements also sent an unwavering message to fans. The $5 million contract isn't particularly large in MLB terms. But this contract embodies value beyond monetary value. Rojas' decision to remain with the Dodgers is a testament to their commitment to upholding the team's winning tradition, and it symbolizes the team's philosophy of succession. The emotional impact he brings will be essential for this fateful season. Behind the scenes of Rojas' contract extension, an even more surprising fact quietly emerged. According to multiple sources, Rojas received enthusiastic offers from numerous teams before reaching this agreement. The most notable among them was the extraordinary offer offered by the New York Mets. At $10 million, $2 million, it far exceeded the Dodgers' stated offer, nearly double. This figure illustrates just how serious the Mets were about Rojas. The biggest reason the Mets clung to Rojas was his unparalleled experience and leadership skills. He has previously instilled shortstop techniques in top players like Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, fundamentally raising the quality of their defense. He truly could be called a defensive teacher, and Rojas was a much-needed addition to the team, which struggled with inconsistency. The team seriously believed that by signing Pereza, they could stabilize their weak shortstop position and completely reshape the team's defensive structure. Despite such high expectations, Rojas easily turned down the temptation to sign him. Despite repeated attempts by the Mets front office to back out, his decision was consistent. It wasn't the money or the environment that led him to choose the Dodgers, it was his conviction. As soon as this decision was announced, MLB officials and fans everywhere were in unison, praising this man for his unwavering dedication. His decision to turn down a billion-yen offer and choose the Dodgers was a symbolic moment, proving that there are values that money can't buy. Just before Rojas decided to stay with the Dodgers, the story began to take an even more dramatic turn. It turns out that Soto, a key Mets player, had called Rojas personally and, in what could be described as a forceful move, urged him to join the team. This revelation, as testified by multiple sources, sent a greater shockwave through MLB than the news of his contract extension. During the call, Soto allegedly attempted to recruit Rojas, stating that joining their team would save the entire MLB and revive American baseball, as if he were a savior. What further fueled the fire was Soto's interview 2 days before the call. He openly criticized the Dodgers on camera, claiming they were too reliant on Japanese players and for marketing purposes. Soto went on to say that if Rojas didn't choose the Mets, it would be a mistake. He also said that the Mets had sufficient funds and could properly manage Rojas's value, and he made disparaging remarks about the Dodgers team management itself. Takuma's comments again sparked outrage on social media, with fans and former players denouncing him as having crossed a threshold that should never have been crossed. What was behind Soto's words? Experts posit a business motive to lure Rojas to the massive New York market, as well as frustration with the Dodgers' growing influence. This was a moment that clearly displayed Soto's rivalry with the Soviets, especially amid the continued success of Ohtani and other Japanese players. It's a rare and heartbreaking example in MLB history for a player to criticize another team's recruitment policy to this extent, and in that sense, his remarks will likely be remembered as a bombshell. Amid Soto's provocative remarks, it was Rojas himself who broke his silence. He upheld Soto's assertions with sharp words that belied the calmness he'd displayed throughout his long career. There's no way anyone could take advantage of the years and trust he'd built with the Dodgers. Rojas's first incarnation sent a chill through the entire MLB. He also criticized Soto's self-proclaimed claim that he would save MLB, calling it nothing more than a fabricated heroic image and asserting that it was nothing more than a distraction. Rojas particularly emphasized the jealousy and guilt inherent in Soto's words. He stated that if baseball were driven by jealousy and discrimination, it wouldn't be pure baseball, and questioned Soto's very stance. Furthermore, a comment that epitomized his career was spread to Takuma through reporters. "If we're talking about real baseball, Soto is too old to lecture me." This rebuttal, a true testament to his role as a professor and a big brother figure for the Dodgers, sent shockwaves both inside and outside the league. This comment instantly rippled throughout MLB, evolving into a debate symbolizing two generations: Soto, a young star, and Rojas, nearing the end of his career. Experts debated the differences in values underlying the two men's words, and television programs and sports analysts analyzed this as not simply a debate between players and officials, but a battle over baseball culture itself. This head-on clash between a veteran professor and a young free agent became a moment that will go down in MLB history. While Rojas's stern counterattack shocked the world, Soto, rather than backing down, added fuel to the fire with even more provocative remarks. On the same day that Rojas officially announced his contract extension, Soto uttered an unbelievable statement in front of the media. No way! He had betrayed American baseball! His remarks were so sudden that a heavy silence fell over the reporters. Soto went on to criticize the Dodgers for relying too heavily on Japanese players, even appearing to reject the team's reinforcement policy. The current approach of relying too heavily on Japanese talent will only cause American baseball to fall behind. His quiet words carried a sense of incongruity, as if they were going against the flow of the times. This remark caused a huge uproar, sending the entire MLB community into shock. Soto's insults weren't limited to Japanese players. This was because Soto's comments were a denial of the Dodgers' philosophy, which had welcomed numerous international stars, especially Shohei Ohtani, and had built a strong organization together with them. In particular, the fact that they were seen as a hindrance to the Dodgers' development system and culture, which Rojas had supported for many years, deeply disappointed fans and those involved. Sports channels one after another criticized Soto's comments, harshly criticizing them for their lack of historical understanding and the erosion of respect for the organization. Even more problematic was that each time Soto strengthened his 5 terms, his actions were perceived as being directed at specific players or countries.
Nihon players, especially Shohei Ohtani and Roju Sasaki, are ushering in a new era in MLB.
Soto's comments were now dismissed as anachronistic and a joke. Social media was fueled not by jealousy of Rojas, but by fear of Ohtani. Comments such as Soto simply failing to acknowledge the importance of international baseball were flooded, and Soto's reputation plummeted. Soto's provocative remarks were shaking up the entire MLB. Just then, Mookie Betts finally broke his silence. Known for his careful statements, Betts's expression at the press conference was clearly angered, and his voice held a weight never heard before. Has there ever been such a ridiculous statement in baseball history? The tension in the interview room instantly became tense with his first words. Let's continued by carefully describing how sincerely Rojas supported the team and how quietly he had brought out the players' potential, praising his demeanor as the epitome of a respectable professional. Furthermore, Betts openly refuted criticism from outsiders that the team relied on Japanese players. Baseball is a sport that has developed across borders. Strength is born from mutual recognition and competition. Nationality is irrelevant. He particularly criticized the outside attitude that discounts the contributions of Shohei Ohtani and many other Japanese players, saying they fail to understand what baseball is all about. His words embodied the philosophy of multiculturalism the Dodgers have come to realize, and were met with outpouring of support from fans worldwide. As soon as Betts's comments were broadcast, the tide of public opinion and the team's influence shifted dramatically. Even those who had previously criticized Soto were right, as Betts said. Soto reversed his stance, claiming that his remarks were discriminatory and his isolation deepened. Even among experts, Betts' comments represented MLB values. They were considered historic statements that indicated the direction baseball should take, and their influence spread both domestically and internationally. As the conflict between Rojas and Soto intensified, experts quietly began to focus on a fundamental question: who Soto was really fighting. Carefully examining his criticism of the Dodgers, his mockery of Japanese players, and his provocation of Rojas, one name emerges at the heart of them all: Shohei Ohtani, who has become a symbol of MLB. His overwhelming talent, unprecedented contract size, and global popularity have made him such a huge presence that he is now considered a symbol of baseball itself. Whenever Soto criticizes Rojas or the Dodgers, experts have repeatedly pointed out that it is a sign of rivalry against Ohtani. In particular, the moment Soto commented that the team was too heavily weighted toward Japanese players, It became clear that his words were not merely an opinion, but a cry laced with jealousy. Ohtani's overwhelming presence made his own shadow pale in comparison. Soto himself was the one who most keenly sensed this. His tone when he spoke about the future of American baseball sounded like an inner cry for him to be the center of attention. One commentator said on a television program, "This isn't something that's happening to Rojas. It's not something that's happening to the Dodgers." He believes that Ohtani has usurped his position as the center of MLB. This analysis spread to Tacoma, and more fans began to believe that Soto's comments were a sign of inferiority complex. Indeed, Ohtani's influence has grown year by year, and many players are now being compared to him. It's no wonder that Soto's impatience is growing. And this latest attack on Rojas's retention has only further fueled this fire. While Rojas chose a central figure, the Dodgers are evolving around Ohtani, a symbol of diversity and competitiveness. On the other hand, Soto seemed to resort to aggressive words and actions to demonstrate his own significance. However, his words deviated greatly from the values of baseball, a sport that is loved beyond teams and nationalities. Ultimately, this turmoil does not end as a simple negotiation between players. It was also an incident that symbolized the shift in values that MLB is facing. An era in which players are judged by ability rather than nationality. An era in which cultural differences bring together strength, and an era in which fans from all over the world support the same team. At the center of all this is Ohtani, and many have concluded that Soto, who perceived him as a threat, apologized for letting his emotions get the better of him. Keeping Rojas was the right choice for the Dodgers. And Soto's reaction may be nothing more than the cry of a young star who cannot adapt to the changing times. But one thing is certain, the leading role in MLB has already changed. And what hurts most about this change is the anxiety. MLB is entering a new era, shaped not by contracts or statistics alone, but by identity, loyalty, and the shifting power of global baseball culture. Miguel Rojas chose legacy over money. Mookie Betts chose unity over division. And Soto chose a path that may define his career for years to come. But this story is far from over. Behind every decision, behind every comment, lies a deeper pulse, a tension that could reshape the future of the Dodgers, the Mets, and even the entire league. What happens next? Will the Dodgers' unity strengthen under pressure? Will Soto confront the rising tide against him? And how will Ohtani's presence continue to transform the balance of power in MLB? These answers are coming, and when they do, they'll shake baseball again. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay sharp. And make sure you come back for the next chapter of this unbelievable saga. Because trust me, the story is only just beginning.